Hello and welcome to this edition of Diaspora Central. I am Gil Ingles, and with me today in the studio, ladies and gentlemen, is a lady that has the skill of words, the craftsmanship, the penmanship, the ability to create with words what most of us would wish we could do, which is MCing, moving the crowd. She is an artist, yes, a rapper, hip-hop artist. She is a poet, yes, a spoken word artist. Fatima, welcome to Diaspora Central.
Thank you, Gil. Thanks
Yes,
for having me.
indeed. Always a pleasure, always a pleasure, always a pleasure. So, the penmanship, the ability to write,
Yes.
the ability to MC,
Yes.
the ability to move the crowd
Absolutely.
doesn't just happen.
No.
Comes from somewhere.
Certainly.
Starts somewhere. Can we talk a little bit about your background?
Almost definitely.
Yeah.
So, my inspiration is definitely my father and my mother.
Whoa.
They were a powerhouse when I was growing up. My father, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, but my
Okay.
parents are from the Caribbean,
Right.
from Grenada. And I remember stories that my parents told me that you learned from experiencing from the elders in the community.
Right.
And in the diaspora, we're very rhythmic people.
Right.
So it's impossible to not be in a household, as far as I know, with people who don't just listen to music, but play music.
Indeed.
So my dad is, in a sense, self-taught, but as far as origin is concerned, the community
Right.
nurtured his connection to his rhythm through teaching him through the guitar. So my dad, he played the electric guitar.
Okay.
And he played drums,
Oh, wow.
bass,
Oh, wow.
keys, because he taught me and my siblings.
There you go. How many siblings are there? How big
There were
is the
three
family?
of us, so it was four
Three.
of us in total.
There you go.
So my brother was on the drums, I was on the keyboard, my sister Bashiva was on the acoustic guitar.
There you go.
My younger sister survived. She was the baby, so she just always held the mic, but she has an incredible voice as well. All of
Gotcha.
my siblings are very talented.
Okay, so all of you guys are artistically
Yes,
inclined, and
because-
Dad is really the one.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
the one. We actually had a group when I was growing up called ICY.
Okay, I see why.
And it was nerve-wracking. It was
Yeah.
nerve-wracking because he made sure we performed at our school shows, at assemblies. It was like, what?
Right. Hey, you're creating stars. You
Absolutely.
gotta get them under pressure, right?
Absolutely. But he reaffirmed through action that what you want, you have to work at. You have
Exactly.
to practice.
Yeah.
So I was the child who unfortunately didn't get to play double dutch downstairs all the time. I had to be sight reading, learning how to read my notes,
Right.
practicing my music on the keyboard and writing music.
Got you. So you also play instruments?
Yes,
Yeah.
I am not as versed in playing keyboard anymore, but I
Okay.
do produce.
Okay.
So I'm able to use the keyboard to produce,
There
and
you
I'm
go.
currently learning guitar.
There you go. Hey,
Yes.
if you can be given an instrument or
Absolutely.
anything and be able to take that abstract idea of what music that you hear in your head and be
Yes.
able to put it into a tangible
Yes.
means, and you're doing something.
It is so beautiful.
Yeah.
It has been such a profoundly enriching journey.
Yeah.
It's been turbulent, of
Right.
course, because unfortunately my parents didn't stay together. And so there has been this gap in a
Right.
sense of how I decided to jump back on the pony of pursuing my destiny as far
There
as
you go.
music is concerned, because I went a different route. I went into science. I got
Oh,
a
wow.
bachelor's in biology.
There you go.
I wanted to become a doctor.
Okay.
So I studied with a lot of different naturopaths. Like I've had a very interesting.
There you go. And where are you right now on that line of work?
I'm still, so I decided to get my master's in education
Okay.
and teach science, like physics,
There you go.
anatomy, and physiology, because I
Right.
really do love science.
Yeah.
And for me, the more I learn about human beings, the human body, the more I understand like what we can do,
Indeed.
how great our capacity is.
Indeed.
But the beautiful thing is that music never left me.
Right.
So what I did with my students when I first started teaching, I was 22, and I would like turn like the biology curriculum into rap songs and poems.
And that's a good thing.
And they did well.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
It helps people remember.
Yeah, and it made
We're rhythmic
it
beings.
made our classes enjoyable.
Right.
You know, I was a young kid practically. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is so boring.
Yeah.
If I'm bored, I know they're bored.
Indeed.
So yeah, it was incredible. Using what my dad and my mom, through her support, taught me about music and how powerful it is in helping you to tap into your creativity and just yourself, and like utilizing that modality in science, in working with young people, in healing myself in many ways, transcending different things that have impacted me in a negative way. Music is my love, my lover, my source, my everything.
There you go. Music.
So I'm never walking away from it again.
Yeah, no, music chose you. You didn't choose music.
Absolutely.
Right.
I agree with you.
Yeah, the ability to take melodies and turn those into something tangible
Yes.
that people can actually appreciate by being soothed by it, or by relaxed, or by being anything that is good by it, is in itself a God-given ability or skill, right?
Yes,
And
I agree.
we shouldn't take that lightly, because it does change people's moods when you
It
play
does.
music.
It does.
Now, at what age did you realize that, okay, you were really built to be a musician?
It's interesting. It wasn't a good experience, but it's one that I remember very much. I was in the 4th grade.
Okay.
My sister's a year older than me, so she was graduating.
Okay.
And one of my teachers asked the entire class to write like poems or graduation songs for the seniors.
Yeah.
And I wrote a song that I was very, very happy with.
Okay.
I was probably too happy because my teacher thought I'd plagiarized it. And I was reprimanded.
Oh, wow.
And in my little 8-year-old, 9-year-old mind, I was horrified. I'm like, wow, this is incredible to me, that, because that's just the type of person I am. I'm a very joyous person.
Right.
I love love. I love people.
Right.
But sometimes even adults, I had to realize as a child, their own misery can, you know,
Indeed,
harm
indeed.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
people will try to transfer onto you whatever energies they have.
Because it's like,
and-
I'm like 9, like it's not the computer era like that. Like I'm not gonna go on Google back in like the early 1990s and hop on a song.
Yeah.
So the fact that she responded like that, kind of like translated like, yo, you really got a gift, because she thought I copied from somebody, but it came from me.
Right.
You know?
So you got something.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is incredible. Who could I have copied from? Who would it be? Michael Jackson? So that's when I knew that stayed with me, resonated with me as I got older. And I took it seriously when I was teaching full-time in New York. I was a resident artist for a phenomenal organization, Pure Elements in Evolution and Dance.
Right.
And I was teaching some high schoolers in the Bronx.
Okay.
And again, like I had to bring my music into it.
There you go.
And one of the students busted out, yo, miss, where your band at? And I was like, word?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. So, you know, teenagers, they don't fake the funk.
Yeah,
If
indeed.
you're not coming with anything that's
you
good,
whack.
like
you whack.
they're going to start talking.
If you whack, you
they
whack.
might cuss you out a little bit. But like they were very in tune. And I was like, okay, so people want to hear my music and the young people want to hear my music. Let's go.
Yeah.
So that's when I started like taking this creating music very seriously.
Okay.
And a year later, I produced and wrote my first EP.
Yeah. Now, one thing that you didn't do for us, you didn't mention your father's name.
Oh, my father's Michael.
Yeah, and your mother.
Sandra.
All right. So
Yes.
on that note, let's go ahead and take our first break and definitely take a look at what is it that Michael and Sandra have created through the creation of one of their beings. We're now enjoying good music. So let's take a look at one of your videos. We'll be right back.
Reaching thunder strikes the ground. Flashing, splashing, flashing, splashing you. But you are the light of cosmic storms. Peace spirals through your beautiful stems. Beaming I get on my bones and down into my be the feeling. That I get on my bones and down into my be the feeling. That I get into my bones. You gotta be stronger than every adversity. Let's implement my ways to the highest of my destiny. Freestyling every morning that I wake because it's you and me. Brave is in the day-to-day routines of this machinery. Pouring hills to lyricists for every single 90s scene. Still measuring up the space through our 20s and our 30s. That's the kind of MC that I knew that I would always be. True or voice my opera, painting a real dope legacy. The feeling that I get on my bones and down into my feet. The feeling that I get on my bones and down into my feet. The feeling.
And we are back. If you just joined us, you now tuned into Diaspora Central with Gil Ingles, and our guest today is Fatima. Yes, a spoken word artist, a rapper, a singer, a lyricist. Now we just found out that she's also an instrumentalist. Of course, that is aside from being a promoter, something that we're going to get into much later. But let's get back into the beginning of music. Melodies.
Yes.
Yeah. At what age did you create your first one?
My sisters and my cousin, we always used to sing together.
Mm-hmm.
So we both have different octaves. My
Okay.
sister's more soprano, I'm more alto. My cousin is a little bit in between.
Okay.
So while listening to Monica, Brandy, SWV, we,
Okay. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
just like harmonize with them and just understand
Okay.
how to even do some impromptu, some freestyling.
All right. So
Got it.
is it around that time when you create your first original melody?
I don't think I really saw myself. I think because my dad wasn't there anymore, I didn't really see myself as pursuing music
Okay.
like truly. I just enjoyed it
Okay.
the way other children did. But I always wrote. I was
Okay.
always writing,
Got
whether
you.
it was music or poetry.
Right.
So yeah, probably my early teens, my friends and like I said, family, we were always
Yeah.
doing something musically.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you in your early teens. Now, while going through school, and what schools did you go to, by the way?
I went to Texas A&M University
Okay.
in Houston.
For
and-
college?
Yes, for college. And I went to Pace University in New York for my master's.
Okay, for your master's. Now
Yeah.
let's go back. Let's in reverse order. So for high school.
High school, I was here in Houston at Hastings
Okay.
High School. Yeah.
All right. And then for elementary school.
Oh, so middle school and elementary
school and
were New
elementary,
York.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so born and raised up until 14 in
Okay.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. That's the borough.
Yes, sir. The best one.
Yeah. What street?
I grew up on St. Mark's
Okay.
between Brooklyn and New York.
There you
know,
go.
So
Yeah. There you go. Brooklyn is in the building.
yes, sir.
Diaspora, stand up. Yeah. Now, was there any teacher or any other person in your family that was sort of influential?
Very
to your
much
creativity.
So.
Mhm.
Very much
Who were
so.
they?
It was my believe it or not, it was my librarian
Mm-hmm.
in middle school. She introduced me to recitation, to
Okay.
storytelling. And I wasn't shy, but public speaking was not my forte.
Okay.
Never wanted to do it. I think it's because a lot of my peers were very cruel. But she didn't force me, but she empowered me so much. And I remember the book. It was called Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters by John Steptoe. So I memorized the entire book. And just like hearing myself out loud, I think when you don't hear yourself out loud, sometimes you don't
Right.
you don't really understand. Like
Yeah.
for me, I didn't understand that, I have a really nice voice. Like
Right.
I was just like,
You don't get to appreciate
you
yourself.
didn't, right. And
Yeah.
because other people weren't appreciating either.
Right.
It's like harshness. I don't know why. But
Yeah.
but it was her. And I remember her just feeding me with so much positivity and so much love through that process. Because it was intense.
Yeah.
To memorize an entire book and to have to present it in front of my peers and everything. But after doing that, she was like, you can do whatever you want. She was
Indeed.
like, this is your gift.
Yeah.
So she helped me to see my voice as a baseline, as being my gift. And I was like, okay, well, if this very intelligent woman,
Right.
brilliant woman who got me out of my shell
Right.
is telling me that my voice is a gift to me from the Most High, from the Creator,
Right.
then it's limitless what I can do with this voice.
Indeed. And a lot of times it takes one person just to kind of get you Wide open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her
Because
name is Miss Hill, by the way, Miss Lita Hill.
there
Amazing.
you go. Shout out. Shout out. And there was where and what's
In Brooklyn.
it? In Brooklyn
Yes.
still. Right. Now, what actually brings you to Texas?
So I have to be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
I love New York. COVID brought me to Texas.
Okay.
My family decided to stay down here because, as you can see, I moved when I was a teenager, went to college here. But then after I graduated with my bachelor's, I went back to New York because, I just wanted to be a part of that culture once again that really molded me and loved me.
Right.
Even though the streets was mad hard, can't
There
even
you go.
lie.
Yeah. But that's what New York is.
Yes,
right?
New York is
Yeah.
really the concrete jungle, but just loving my family so much, wanting to be closer to them, and then starting to, find a vibe with one of my partners, Kanisha,
Right.
who's also helping me with my artistry as well, managing my artistry.
Right.
So yeah, it's like these wonderful connections have kept me here
Yeah.
in Houston, and so now I have a desire to honestly be here a little bit longer.
There you go. And then not only that, I mean, you have even a bigger mission, right? Because you coming from the bed birth of hip hop
Yes.
and into a place where you get a chance to celebrate the 50th anniversary of hip hop.
Yes.
Right? In Houston, Texas, which was not the place where hip hop started, but one of the places that was also very influential with hip hop music, because after all, one of the most famous hip hop songs was made in this city, right? Which
Yes.
is My Mind is Playing Tricks on Me.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Ghetto Boys.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Right. A very influential
Very
group around that time.
influential.
Right. But being a Caribbean and the influence the Caribbean culture had on in hip hop. Okay.
Very much so. Cool
Right.
Herc. Shout out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool Herc. Jamaica.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So today, as you see this culture celebrating 50 years coming from the block party mentality or environment into mainstream, and not only that, into a globalization of a culture that is now, in all honesty, pop. Right?
To a degree,
in which
yeah.
right, in which hip hop now is really the culture that pretty much feeds pop culture.
Very true.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do you feel
Let's see.
as a Caribbean, not as an artist, even just as,
As a Caribbean
Right.
person born and raised in this country, first of all, what I would have to say is, even coming from a science perspective, everything is evolution.
Right.
As much as things take a different course from what your trajectory for what you want it to be. For me personally, I wish there were more artists like Lauryn Hill still on the front stage, like
Okay.
making new music.
Right.
And just the fact that we are so talented, but there's still this division of like, as far as Caribbean dance hall versus Afrobeat, is a lot of that type of talk, a lot of divisiveness, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, because there's a beauty in singularity, in dance hall being dance hall and Afrobeat being Afrobeat.
Indeed.
But when there's a convergence, there's a power there.
Indeed.
It's like masculine, feminine energies.
Right.
Nothing else can come together to create life.
Yes.
That has, pieces of each, but
Indeed.
is its own entity.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So for me, I'm just going to maintain my optimism because I'm in this very beautiful cipher of creation.
Right.
So just because I may not be mainstream, it's just like a lot of other indie artists.
Right.
We may not be mainstream, but that never stops the artist from
You
creating.
you still have a purpose,
Right,
and that purpose
absolutely.
must still be fulfilled.
And when it's time,
Right.
them babies from the Bronx, from the
right.
borough's gonna be like, I don't want to hear that anymore.
Exactly.
I remember my teacher.
Right.
Let me see where she at. And the voice, like things becoming viral,
Right.
can kind of shift things and make the perspective less commercialized as well, so that different voices can be heard.
Right, indeed. No,
Yeah.
definitely. And that's what has brought this culture to 50 years, believe it or
Yes.
not.
Yes.
Right? Is that perseverance, is that thing of not worrying about what is hot right now, but doing what it is culturally or
Yeah.
how can we say audibly right. Yeah. Now, as an artist, eventually you got to a point where, of course, you said you had kind of walked away from it a little bit. You were not too much into music as you were when your pops was around. I take it that that's part of the separation, I guess, that
Yeah.
creates that void, right?
Yeah.
So did music at that point somewhat become sort of a therapy for you?
When he wasn't around, for me, I've always had just like a very special, besides my dad, I would think that's why I think out of all of my siblings, I'm the one who is actually pursuing it professionally. But I don't know if it was necessarily a therapy or just like what the fad was or what the culture was at the time.
Got you.
Like music is very, very rich in the diaspora, especially as far as African, Caribbean, just everybody. Like growing up in Brooklyn too, we had so many different Caribbean festivals and so on and so forth. You heard music all the time.
Right.
So I think to a degree, it almost kind of like kept me in a bubble
Right.
in a sense where, yeah, things have changed in my personal life, but New York is always moving. So I
Right.
guess maybe my life is, I can't really
Give you
gauge
somewhat
how
a sense of
was
control of
impacted.
something.
Yeah, like it's like outside things were kind of like
Yeah.
in control, but I always still had something that was always there.
Right.
So yeah, it's just kind of there, you
Okay.
know.
There you go. And now, did you ever get a chance to visit the Caribbean?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
not only visit, but I decided that New York I had enough, and I moved.
Oh, wow. And
Lived there for a
what
few
country did
years.
you move to?
Grenada, where my
So you went
family's
to
from.
Grenada.
I did.
All right. So you went home.
I did. I
Yeah.
went home.
How long did you stay?
On and off for about 6 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Is it though?
Yeah, that's a long time.
I still feel like I should be there.
Yeah, your
Yes.
heart's still there.
My heart is still there.
Okay, so let's take a look at a few images from Grenada just so people can understand what we are talking about. We'll be right back. You are now tuned into Diaspora Central with Gil Ingles, and our guest today is, yes, the lyricist, yes, the spoken word artist, yes, the singer, writer, producer, Fatima. We'll be right back.
Return to the forest. Yeah. Our homes are in nature. Our homes are in nature. From her womb we're extended. Yeah. Through her source we are nourished. Return to the forest. Our homes are in nature. From her womb we're extended. Through her source we are nourished. Through her source we are nourished. Return to the forest.
And we are back. If you just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central with Gil Ingles. And yes, I do have Fatima, the MC, Fatima, the rapper, Fatima, the spoken word artist, Fatima, the promoter.
Yes.
Yeah. Pop night.
Yes, POP.
P.O.P. night. Happens in Jamaica.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a concept that started between you and your partner,
Kanisha.
Kanisha?
Yeah,
Right.
she's such an amazing visionary. And Kanisha is also an artist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's a poet.
Oh, wow.
At the launch event, she did an amazing poem that I am going to encourage her to do again because it's
Okay.
very moving.
Yeah.
But yes, she wants to make sure she creates, like you said, that culture that never dies,
Right.
so that local independent artists can not only showcase our music, but we can network and we can establish relationships with producers and
Right.
other producers, right?
Yeah.
Record labels, just concert promoters, just so many different things are happening globally as
Yeah.
far as our music, diaspora music is concerned, that she established a relationship with Paul
Yeah.
Beecher, who is the owner of Jamaica in Houston. and it was lit. I was one of the featured artists for our first launch night, so I'm still lit from that. But yeah, she came to me with the idea, and ever since we've just been moving. It's just we've been steamrolling through to just get more people involved.
And yeah, now growing up, I know that at some point you had to look at all your friends and classmates and everything and kind of be like, you know what's something different about me. I'm like, they get to do this, they get to do that. I really don't. So that identity crisis, that's where I'm going. That happens to all of us that kind of grow up as either first generation or as individuals that were born in another country and raised in America. At what point did you realize that you were sort of different than your friends? And then how did you manage that?
Well, the one positive thing about Brooklyn is that most of my friends were first generation.
Right.
Family from Guyana, family from, of course, Jamaica, Dominica, Puerto Rico. So we did not feel too foreign to the concept of being around a lot of our community members who were not first generation.
Right.
Because for some reason, just like I know my mom would talk about, there was a lot more harmony, I would say, amongst the diaspora back in the day. We had our issues, but there was still this love. It didn't really feel like we were segregated in a sense, even though, because we were all from there. But I definitely noticed it more when I moved to Houston. Because the high school that I had went to was predominantly not black.
Okay.
So I'll just put it that way. And this is the first time I had predominantly not black teachers who kind of wanted me to stay within this very, how can I say,
box.
Not spicy, not delicious, very, you know.
They were trying to turn you into a square.
Yeah, they were. They didn't really get it, you know. So that's when I noticed, because most of my peers here are multiple generation American.
Right.
So yeah, I realized, them not understand the patois.
There you go.
In a sense, right? And even like bringing that to the Houston scene is was like, what?
Yeah.
You know, like what are they talking about?
Right.
But I still bring it anyway because I truly trust and believe in our intrinsic connection as people, melanin people from the continent, regardless.
Right. Yeah.
How separated we have been over our generations.
Indeed. Now, as you look at Houston, even from an entertainment perspective, of course, you already noticed something that you knew that you could add value to, which is the independent music industry, creating an opportunity for an open mic where people can actually come in and showcase. What other initiatives you think that you definitely think that would make good sense in this city?
Well, definitely the initiative, I would say, as far as like relationship building between Black people, the diaspora, not just intimacy, but business relations. Like my brother owns his own business. He has different venues that he rents out, but things are very digitized, which is okay. It's a place for that. But to be able to interact and network, especially people throughout the diaspora, for personal things, for business things. I'll definitely speak with Kanisha about that, because Black business needs to also have this kind of centralized place where people can go to and say, oh, I'm looking for this, or I'm looking for that. Wow, let's support each other. Let's support these Black businesses. Like, you're here, you know what I mean?
Indeed.
Who are the journalists? Who do I need representing and showing up for my shows and stuff like that?
Media is definitely important, and we media personalities are here to support anything that you guys do. I haven't had a chance yet to join you guys on Pop Night, but I definitely plan to do so.
What are you gonna do, Gil? What's your talent?
No, I'm not gonna join you guys that way. I'm gonna go in and entertain myself.
I got you.
Yeah, my talent is clapping after you guys perform.
We love it.
That's my biggest talent. But anything else that you think that our audience should know that we may have not touched, maybe?
So as far as POP Pop Night is concerned, you don't have to be a full-fledged professional artist, is what I tell a lot of people that I come across. Like, it's okay, like I mentioned, to have stage fright and to be a little bit fearful initially, but follow your passion. The open mic aspect is a huge opportunity. You could come every week and practice during the open mic until you're ready to say, you know what, this is a part of me. I want to be a feature. We also want people who are not artists to come out so that you can speak with myself and Kanisha to really share your ideas, your input about what can enrich our community more. You know, because no man is an island,
Right.
and an island that has amazing people doing amazing things makes that island lit.
Indeed.
So that's what we want to do in Houston with Pop Night and just the different artists that we work with, myself included. I'm always interested in collaborating with musicians, poets, dancers. I'm also a dancer.
Oh, okay.
Haven't danced professionally in a while, but we want people to come out and understand that this is a space of creating and creation.
Right.
So, you know.
So now you mentioned that dancing professionally. So what dances do you do?
So hip hop. I used to teach hip hop actually.
Okay,
I
so
gotta shout out
you're
another
not just a
spot.
dancer. You're actually a dancer.
Oh yes, and teacher,
a choreographer, an
yes,
instructor.
in a previous life, in this life. But yes,
Okay.
I did that for many years.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. You know, we want somebody to be like, yo, let's come through and
Right.
and do some choreography and shoot a video.
There you
know,
go.
we want
Yeah.
those types of collaborations. So it's as big as you allow your imagination to be what
Right.
we're creating.
Yeah, indeed. And you were getting ready to shout out a spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of my training through music, and I can't believe I forgot this, it was called Deeper Light Dance and Drum Institute in Brooklyn, where I learned African drumming, djembe, shaker, so on and so forth, and African dance. So
Right.
West African dance, Guinea, West Africa specifically, and music.
Yeah.
That was my foundation as well that kept me centered.
There you go. There's always a community institution that becomes that
Yes.
pillar that holds up stars. Of course, there's always a lot of pressure to make diamonds, and you are definitely turning into a very bright one.
Thank
And
you.
I thank you for taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule to actually come out and join us here today.
Thank you
And
for having me.
there's one question that I know that the audience is definitely probably burning. Like, okay, aside from how can they get in touch with you, there's the question: what is next for Fatima? Are you releasing any bodies of work? What exactly
Yes.
is going on?
So I am releasing my first poetry anthology, Poetry of Essence.
Okay.
And I am working on a new EP, which has some more like love songs,
Okay.
not so fiery hip hop, but
Right.
love songs and
Okay.
Caribbean fusion songs in
There you
it that
go.
I'm very happy about.
Yeah, there you go. And have you already closed that production, or can producers still get in touch with you to?
They can most certainly
Yeah.
get in touch with me.
Okay.
I love working with you.
And how would
producers.
they do that?
So my email, well, actually my website has most
Okay.
of my information,
Yeah.
oraclevoices.com.
Oraclevoices.com.
Yes,
Okay.
Oracle Voices. And then they can also email me at oraclevoices4 at gmail.com.
Okay. And what about your handle for Instagram and other social
Instagram is
media?
a different name, so I'm going to spell it after I say it. Songs of Awa, so SONGSOFEYWAH.
Right. And you have a YouTube channel.
I do.
Yeah?
Yes, it's youtube.com /@ Fatima Ashera, Fatima Asera.
Okay. Now, what does Ashera mean? Is that a meaning to
It's a
that?
combination, yes. It's the Ghanaian word ashe, which means so it is. And Ra is not just for the sun Ra, but for rhythm alchemy, which I am
There
a
you
rhythm
go.
alchemist.
There you go. And you're wearing yellow.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Listen, Fatima, it's been a pleasure having you here. Yeah, and for those of you that joined us, remember that it's all about making sure that you are following what you are meant to do. Don't allow yourself to be pulled away from what you really are. Because a lot of times it's not you choosing it, it's it choosing you. So let happiness and prosperity choose you. Until next time, peace.